This is my new micro flat, but
Supposed to come out of
so yeah, there's quite a few things that are wrong with it. So with my very limited DIY knowledge, I want to see just how hard it is to fix everything in this place before I can move in. What could go wrong?
Now, usually a ceiling is supposed to stay in the ceiling, which isn't really happening here. So I removed the ceiling to see what was going on. So the reason the false ceiling was falling down is because this rail here isn't screwed into the wall, which means it slouches down and it doesn't properly support the section of false ceiling. And this is what it should look like. Look at that. Very strong. Since in the end, all I really had to do was screw in the rail, I'll give this a 3 out of 10 on the pain in the ass scale. Moving on to the curtains. The best thing about them is that they only cover half of my room because there's an aircon in the way. So that's going to be a fun one to figure out. Since I couldn't just install a single rail, I had to set up a rail on each side of the aircon. And then I cut a hole in the curtain for the aircon and used these iron-on hemming strips so that the edges of the cuts looked clean. So how hard was this job? I couldn't find a rail that was short enough, so I had to buy a longer one that I'd have to cut down. But of course, I didn't have a metal saw, so I had to go and buy one. And when I got the metal saw, I needed to buy clamps so I could cut it properly, which I didn't have. And there was so many other little things that I had to buy to get this seemingly simple job done. So this is gonna be an easy 7 out of 10. So that's pretty much everything I can do in this room for now. So let's get cracking with the other rooms. Welcome to the kitchen / bathroom. Now, I'm no plumber, but I don't think water is supposed to come out of here, which is why I've got this handy bucket. Now, I've done some testing. The water and the leak is coming from here. So you can see there's supposed to be silicone all around here, but currently gone. So I'm going to clean up all the old stuff, run some new silicone around the joint, and hopefully that solves the issue. It did not. Turns out silicone has an expiry date, and if it goes over the expiry date, it doesn't dry. So 7 days later, I was left with this sticky mess under my sink that I had to clean up and try again with some brand new silicone. Now this job wasn't too hard, but the whole faff of having to clean away the out-of-date silicone that hadn't dried and reapplying new silicone and making sure there was no leaks and testing where all the leaks came from and cleaning all the pipes and everything else that came with it made this by far the most annoying, most painful job I had to do. 9 out of 10. Now, there are 2 sinks in this flat. What are the chances that the second sink also has a problem? That's right, it's 100%. The pipe on this sink just isn't even connected. And you can see there's quite a large gap between the pipe and the other pipe it's supposed to go into. So I bought this sort of foam silicone adhesive tape, which I'm gonna put around the pipe, and that's going to reduce the gap between the small pipe and the pipe it's supposed to go into. So the pipe now has the tape on, and look at this. That is a pretty tight fit. And yes, I know, foam isn't exactly waterproof and I should have done this and la 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 la. And I look forward to all your angry comments. So for this job, it was actually super easy. So this one is only gonna be a 2 out of 10. Next, we're gonna tackle the toilet seat because it's broken, it's chipped, or it's even painted. I've no idea. This was surprisingly easy. All you have to do is make sure that the screws that hold the lid fit the holes in the toilet. And it's as simple as undoing a few screws, putting them back, and you're done. So yeah, 0 out of 10. This is so not glamorous. My dad and I spent the whole of last weekend repainting all the walls because the original paint job was all cracked and different parts of the walls were all different colors. Painting the rooms required a lot of prep work and the paint itself required a few layers. So it was quite time consuming and required a lot of effort. However, I would say that a good coat of paint is the best thing you can do for your flat because it made such a big difference and the end result is so satisfying. So I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. Just like the other room, it already looks quite good because it's been painted. Until you look at the ceiling. Before we started painting, we noticed a few damp patches where the paint was peeling off. So we carved them back and filled them with putty. But we clearly missed a few spots because paint is starting to chip again. This was pretty easy as we'd done most of the work before, so I just had to touch up 1 or 2 little spots. So all in all, I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10. So those are the main jobs I had to do before I could move into the flat. This was supposed to take 1 weekend, but it ended up taking about a whole month. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!